All right. So, welcome Shri and Josh for this new episode on Teen Talk. So, quickly, I want to tell you that this channel, Yogami Kids Teen Talk, is about bringing youth to talk about topics on wellness, well-being, leadership skills, public speaking, passion projects, and really bringing out the youth voices. Um, and in a larger scale, we are a yoga mindfulness company. We work with schools and other organizations. And we also bring a lot of workshops like public speaking workshops, leadership skills, and stuff to the youth. So that is what this whole platform is about. And excited to have you guys. So we can start with the introductions and go ahead. Any one of you can start. Tell me your name, your grade, and what is this project about, and give me something you want. Go ahead. Who wants to start? Shri, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Shrigu Pratla. I'm an incoming junior at Sharon High School. Um, and then we started this project because we see like family friends and like elderly people who we help in our neighborhood struggle to put out trash cans routinely.
Yeah, I'm Josh Reichman. I'm a rising senior at Sharon High School as well. And I really wanted, again, with this project to work with Sri Rabu. I saw all the family friends, all the relatives, all the people within the neighborhood that really struggled with any of these physical tasks. And we found that taking out the trash was one of those most difficult things, especially when the weather conditions get bad.
Interesting. So just to be clear, this is physical product, right? We are going to see a physical product that will help anyone to pick up their trash. Is that what it is? Or is it targeted to elderly people, or is it anybody can use it?
Anybody can use it. We just think that it will help elderly people the most because of the weight. And it's not really like taking out the trash from the home to the like the barrels, but it's putting the barrels to the side of the curb, which we found would be
Hmm.
the most difficult. Because some people might have like steep driveways during snow, during like if there's ice on the driveway, then it becomes dangerous as well.
Yeah,
And
so
so it's
this is
really
this is a physical product that we've designed and we've tried to optimize the aspects of the design to make it as easy to use for the seniors as possible and as capable in any of those conditions where it's very difficult.
Excellent. So let us see the slides that you have for us first, and then, we can ask more questions at the end. Okay, go ahead and share your slides.
All right, so this is our presentation on what we're calling the bin bot, and it's by myself, Josh, and by Shriwabu here.
Yeah, so the biggest problem we've noticed is moving trash bins is both manually and physically like demanding, whether you're a working parent who's taking care of multiple kids during like a 9 to 5 job, or you have a disability, say you're stuck to a wheelchair, or you have some sort of limb that is injured, or if you're elderly, which has like weakened physical abilities. Taking out the trash may seem like a mundane task, but it does become pretty difficult as these trash cans can go up to like 220 pounds. So we wanted to design like an affordable AI powered system to autonomously do it. So it would take that chore away from them and make life much easier in that sense.
Yeah, so to start and kind of base our design, we looked at what are the existing solutions that exist, especially for elderly people, and how can we build upon these designs to improve them. So the first kind of service that we found was a basic pickup service where you would schedule someone to come to your house physically and take the trash can to the curb. And what we found about this is it's expensive, and a lot of the seniors just cannot afford a service that costs $50 per month, like this stuff like Can Monkey. And then we looked at the physical products that have been tried in the past. So one of them is this Resi Smart Can that's pictured on the right. And although it was a product that did work, it had a lot of flaws. So the first was that permanent mechanical attachment, that it was physically attached to the bin at all times, which meant that you would need multiple of them if you had multiple bins, and they could easily be broken when the trash can was picked up and collected. And it also required a dock at both the house and the curb, which is risky because of the risk of damage on the side of the street. And it also relied on extensive training for its pathing and navigation, so it wasn't able to dynamically avoid obstacles and have that spatial avoidance that allows it to know where other things are around it. And eventually, that project was actually abandoned due to the reliability issues that they had in testing. So that was something that, we kind of wanted to pick this up and really build a project like this for the seniors. And the last thing we found was that a lot of the existing solutions are hard for the seniors themselves to set up, especially if they require all this extensive training and mobile app set up and like putting these docks everywhere. So we really wanted to focus on fixing all of those problems and creating an all-around product for that.
So to talk more about the design, this is something that we've started to work on. This is the CAD so far. We're using a software called Onshape. So it's designed to work in any weather or driveway condition to make sure that the adults or the seniors who are actually trying to use the BinBot will have as least difficulty as possible while trying to use it. So making sure that there's minimal to no maintenance. And that's why we designed it out of aluminum extrusions, which makes it like robust, durable, and modular in case there is any other type of weather condition that we can't account for, like snow. We're thinking about adding like a snow plow in the front just in case. We also want to make it entirely waterproof to prevent against rust and anything to the electronics. So we're adding silicone seals. We want to add a wireless charging dock as well, so the seniors don't have to manually charge it. And we also want to make sure that we do have a 220-pound towing capacity, which is about the maximum weight a trash can support. So making sure that every trash can in every household is available to use the bin bot.
Yeah, and then next I'd like to talk about the sort of autonomous navigation that we're planning for the BinBot. So the idea that we have for the BinBot is that its operation will be completely autonomous, again, to make it easier for the seniors. So it'll have automatic docking and charging, like it'll be able to automatically align to that dock and start wireless charging. It'll be able to pick up the trash cans by themselves, then it will take them out to the curb, and then we'll also have it be able to like automatically open the garage when it needs to get out or back in. And the backbone behind this is the camera tracking systems that we're building for the BinBot. So these are neural networks that specifically do image segmentation, and they're able to pick apart parts of our camera feed that we're going to have and be able to detect where are the any of the obstacles, where's the driveway, where's the curb, where's the grass, and where's any of this. And as it drives along, it'll be able to basically create a spatial map of what is surrounding it and be able to navigate based on that. And the navigation algorithms will automatically align to the cans to pick them up. It'll avoid any obstacles that are found by the camera, and it will find and take the shortest path to the curb. And then finally, we've also made some optimizations for seniors. So the idea is that the initial setup, at least if it's in the local area, will be able to be done by us. So we can go out there, place the dock where it needs to be, and then actually show the seniors how to use the mobile app that we're planning for it. And the idea with the mobile app is to keep it very simple, very basic, and just have it so that there's a schedule where the seniors can set when the robot will go and bring the trash cans out and bring them back in. And the idea is to teach them how to use that at first, because that's a thing that a lot of seniors have difficulty with is learning how to use all these technologies and all these apps. So that's something that we want to focus on is making that easy to interact with. So they set the schedule once and they almost never have to deal with it again. And as a subscription service, I think the constant support from us, again, as long as they're in the local area, would be very helpful in the case that there's any help needed by the seniors, they can reach out to us, or also if there's issues physically with the robot that need to be fixed, that's also an opportunity for us to go out to them and fix it instead of them having to worry about it.
Right. Is that the end of the slideshow?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, awesome, excellent. I mean, this is a real problem, definitely, because even I'm part of the volunteering for seniors, like Sri Vibhu, that's where I think I learned about this. This is a discussion that's been happening in this elderly community that, it's very difficult to pull out the trash if you are not physically able. But I have a few questions. I have many questions, but let's see. So there's a lot of technology involved in this. So firstly, I'm curious, are you guys how are you uh, interested in this, and are you guys always been, lean towards technology? Do you guys have a background? What is give me some information on that, Josh.
Yeah, so in terms of my technological background, throughout high school, I've been participating on a robotics team, mainly as someone who does the software. So the idea with this project, and we've worked on some projects before with Shrivabu, who's mainly focused on the hardware. But the idea with this project was to create one single integrated system that would autonomously do this curbside waste deployment. And I've used the skills that I already had in stuff like some of the neural network stuff, and coding in general, but I've also taken on the initiative to learn some of the frameworks that we're using specifically for this design. So I've learned how to use the ROS2 framework, how to code in C++, and then also how to use Python and OpenCV and stuff like that.
Wonderful. What about Sri Webu? Do you also have a background in technology?
Yeah, so Josh is more on the software side, and I'd say I'm more on the hardware side. So that makes us like a pretty good team in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing robotics since seventh grade, mainly as like on the mechanical teams. And then a couple of years ago, I picked up CAD, and I did an internship for a little bit working on like CAD skills. So that helped me with my 3D design. And then past that, science fairs and invention convention, and recently with Josh, we made another science fair and invention convention project, which was heavy on both the software and hardware side.
Mm-hmm.
And so throughout high school and a little bit of middle school, I've been pretty involved with mechanical. However, like working on the BinBot, I've had to learn a lot about like electrical engineering because there are a lot of like high power components. We have two batteries inside and several computational devices, and so working with those has taught like made me learn a lot about electrical engineering and like how that is done as well.
I
Okay.
think one also like big thing we've taken into consideration is the holistic design. So it's not just like I'm working alone and Trivabu's working alone and eventually it'll all come together. We're working simultaneously together to make sure that my software algorithms have the hardware that they need to function properly on the robot and they're properly electrically connected. So we've been keeping up with each other, checking up with each other, and designing the robot as a whole and not just in these kind of silos.
Beautiful. So, this, what I did not see in this slide, at least, you can help me understand, is that how this product is connected to the trash bins. So can you explain a little bit about that, how it works, and what device do we need to operate it together? Do we need a phone? Is it a mobile app?
Yeah, so on the design side of like how it does attach to the trash can, we haven't completed the design for it yet, but the idea is to have a linear actuator that moves up onto the handrail on the trash can, as you can see on the existing solutions or this problem slide. The person with a disability or the robot is holding this little handle right here, which is standard among all these residential trash cans. And so we would have like a linear actuator that pushes up against it and
Mm-hmm.
basically holds it at a fixed position. And then our 250-watt motors will basically chug along the driveway and plow them to the end of the curb.
Wow. I wonder. And how do we operate it? Is it like a button, or is it a phone, or is it an app? How do we turn
Yes.
it on?
So the idea is to have a mobile app with a set schedule as to when the robot will be able to go out to take the trash cans out to the curb and a schedule for when to bring them back. And that's something that ideally we set up with the seniors. We show them how to use the mobile app when we set the product up for them, and then everything happens autonomously from there. So if let's say you set up the dock in the garage, we'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to set up the robot to automatically open the garage when it needs to get out. It will know exactly where the trash cans are from the last time it picked them up or dropped them off. And then, as Shrivu said, we have all these linear actuators in the wheels to be able to drive them and manipulate these trash cans around. So the idea is that it's completely autonomous. It doesn't even require like a button to push to make it go or like physically plugging it in as we have the dock to charge it. So the idea is like, again, make it as easy to use for these seniors and just have them not have to worry about it at all.
Yeah, that's true. For especially for seniors, the simpler the better, right? So, speaking about the product, phase, where are you guys at? Is it just on paper, or do you have some working product available? So, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so we are still in like the fundraising and seed phase. We collected around $140 through the GoFundMe's, through the South Asians Better Sharing group and the VFS group. And the kind donators have allowed us to sort of build out our design on paper first before buying any actual components. So what you're looking at the robot design section is sort of the CAD for it, so like how we're going to manufacture it. And we're, I'd say, around 30% done with the design. And I think by the end of summer, we'll be ready to manufacture.
Yeah, so I think the hope is within the next month we can continue our fundraising and initial seed phase, and hopefully by the end of August to September time, we'll be able to have a working prototype, and then from that point on, we'll be able to test it in different environments and again refine on the design until we come out with a real product.
Beautiful. And one more question. So you gave me an example of another product called RisiCan or something, right? And so that was abandoned due to reliability issues in testing, right? So how do you make sure your product doesn't, have those problems? How do you test for reliability issues?
So I
So
think Yeah, specifically with the Resi Smart Can, I think one of the biggest issues was that it was permanently attached to the trash bin itself. So when the trash collection came, it would actually pick up the bin, but also the robot. So that was an opportunity for it to get battered and bashed around. I think that was a lot of the reliability issues, but we're definitely also, as we build the product, as we prototype it, we intend on going through an intense testing phase and figuring out, okay, what are this things limitations? How can we fix that? And if anything breaks, again, how do we fix that? How do we improve it for the next design before rolling it out for the general market?
Mhm. So what is the cost for this entire product to come into life? Like, if I want to buy that product, how much will it cost me? How much will it cost you to make the product, the finished one?
so looking at our parts list, it's around $750 for us to actually make the product.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Keeping in mind that it is our first prototype, like these are all the parts list for our first prototype, so they are going to be a little bit more expensive. But our overall goal is just to keep it under $1,000, making sure it's accessible to as many people as possible, because the end goal is to affect as many seniors' lives as possible. And we do take into consideration that economical like difficulties may apply to some seniors in like more impoverished areas.
Yes,
It, it-
absolutely. Go ahead.
it's also a plan of ours to offer this as not only a like physical one-time purchase, but also as a subscription product because that allows us to provide constant support throughout the product's lifetime so that if anything breaks, the owners know that we are able to be liable and we are able to fix it if necessary. So that would probably start somewhere around $20 to $30 a month.
20 to $30 for the subscription. And if I want to own the complete product, it's somewhere around less than $1,000, right? So that includes the app and all, the whole thing, the whole package.
Yep.
Great. Good to know. Good to know. So what is your next step? So you're doing the fundraising, and give me a little bit of a roadmap.
Yeah, so right now, as I said, we're around 30% in the CAD phase on the hardware side. And so I think the roadmap is to sort of grind out the rest of the CAD in this week's time, to get like a solid design on paper, before we decide to start manufacturing and using the funds that we've gotten. Additionally, we will continue to fundraise throughout this effort, because this is like a fully self-funded um, program. There's no like grants or anything that's going to help us out here. And so, along with fundraising and finishing the CAD, finishing the software, I think the next goal is for us just to get a complete prototype and then finishing up testing before we give it to anyone to really purchase.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's the timeline we are looking at? Just to be curious.
So I think we're aiming to get the prototype done sometime towards the end of this month. So that includes all of the physical CAD structure, the manufacturing, putting it all together, and then also uh, putting the software on there to control all of the motors, you run the different camera pipelines, and continue training them as we run the robot through the prototyping phase, and also any code that's required to navigate the robot, test all of that, hopefully by the end of this month.
End of this month. Okay, great. I'm excited. I will be looking forward for it. You have to share it with me once it's done. Okay. So my final question for you guys. So you obviously you could have done any product, any solved any problem, but you chose this one. I know you gave me an example that you have seen some of your friends and families, having challenges in picking up the trash and etc. But can you tell me a little bit more about what makes you so passionate about this particular product to build this one, Josh?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Shri. You can go ahead.
So considering that we are only high school students, there's only like as much impact we can make within the elderly community, as we are limited by resources and knowledge, of course. However, if we can solve like small everyday tasks for seniors that they are struggling with, then I think it's worth giving them a shot or giving our time to help them sort of solve a problem that is aching and is like not that comparatively not that difficult for us to solve. Um, in terms of funding and in terms of expertise. And so just taking away that level of challenge for them in their everyday lives, I think is one of the biggest drivers um, for our passion towards this project.
I mean, I think what we also wanted to do when we started this project was really use the skills that we already have and the skills that we can readily learn to create a product that will be as impactful as possible. So as Shri was saying, like, what are these tasks that the seniors are doing and in the elderly community and in these disabled communities that a normal person would be able to do and would do without second thought? But what are those tasks that the elderly people, the disabled people, would not be able to do and would need the automation. And that's why, we're taking our backgrounds in robotics and in this manufacturing and design and software to build a product that can really help people and have a huge impact on them.
That's beautiful. And I'm very proud of you guys. So really, it is a very, very important problem to be solved. And there are so many seniors who would really appreciate this. Have you guys uh, spoken to any of the elderly community? Is it if it is at the senior centers or anywhere to talk about your product or anywhere else?
So we did put it out in the VFS group, and after putting out the GoFundMe, we've received several DMs about specific people who actually need help, and that from even Pratima Auntie, who does run VFS, she's telling us that there are so many people who are in need of this solution, specifically trash removal. Even though it may seem like a mundane task, people are obviously getting very suffocated with the amount of physical strain on their bodies, and of course the keeping it in time of scheduling, which is always hard for seniors as well. And additionally, we do have a close friend of ours, Uma Devi Charanti, who is at Sharon Woods, and she's actually offering to pay for this service already. And so that just shows that there is a market and there are people who are in desperate need of the situation.
Excellent. You already have a paying customer. That's wonderful. So why don't you stop the screen share for a second? Okay. Now your opportunity to, pitch to the audience, whoever will watch this video. I'm going to post this on the social media. So if you have anything to say, any message, any requests, anything you want to say, you can go ahead and say it now. Shri can start.
Um, I guess that because as we are two high schoolers trying to push this project to a life, funding has become quite of an issue for us. Our BOM is running up to like $750. And so any bit of donations that you can give or any support that you can show to the project, please do. Um, yeah, that's about it.
Josh?
Yeah, I think that that's the most important thing that I can say is that like we are two high schoolers who are trying to do this self-funded product and the costs are quickly ramping up, but we still want to be able to again use our expertise to create a big impact, a large impact on the elderly and disabled communities. So we'd greatly appreciate any donations or help us fundraise for the cause.
Wonderful. And what was your goal? You said $750?
Yeah, roughly for the cost of parts for the first prototype. Yeah.
Right. And how do we donate if we have to donate it?
Yeah, there is a GoFundMe up. It's called BinBot.
Okay.
I can send the link as well if that
Mhm.
be helpful.
And also, I will share the link on the socials as well later. But so it's a GoFundMe. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you guys so much for sharing your project with our community. And I will make sure I will spread the word as much as I can with everybody. And hopefully, we'll see this working and we'll see this used by many of, even I want to use it. So honestly, for sure. All right. But thank you guys for coming on the channel and wishing you all the very best. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.